Joining us now is OjyOkpe. With stories trending around the world.
Let you finish. How are you this morning? Looking dapper, and I know why. We heard the story already, yes, Rufai. You've already exposed him. We're enjoying tomorrow for sure.
Yes,
happy birthday in advance,
yes,
Dr. Abati. Happy birthday. Well, we're going to celebrate Rufai Oseni as well. Congratulations, Rufai was trending over the weekend because Rufai Oseni launched an education center in his hometown of Odogbolu. Fantastic. And here he had to train 20 teachers, and you started them off on a 1 million platform. Talk to us about that one. I mean, education is the bedrock of any society.
So education is the bedrock of it. So the 1 million teachers platform is an international global platform set up by a very good friend of mine, Akim Subal. And what it just does is it creates a platform to be able to teach teachers soft skills. So I'm also part of the 1 million teachers team. I've done a lot of advocacy. Also, we had an initiative that His Highness Mohammed Sanusi Lamido is still on and is chair of the advisory. All we just do is, teach teachers soft skill and introduce them to a global teacher network.
You brought 20 teachers in.
20 teachers in, to be able to do that. Then, also at the library space, and what we did was we had 5 schools. We had Princeville Academy that finally came first. We had Odogbolu Grammar School, Comprehensive High School, and a couple of other schools there, that came for the debate. And they debated a very important topic: are leaders born or made?
Absolutely.
And they won, many prizes. And next year we have a lot of events we'll be curating, I'm also planning sort of like an Odogbolu Book Festival where we bring back the reading culture. People come, they sell books. We have book interactions and things like that.
That's amazing.
And we have more events for the teachers all through the year. So it's just something that we'll be able to help them scale and get a whole lot better. So that's what I intend for it to do.
That's amazing, Rufai. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, who
really
won?
humbled.
Our leaders born or made? I don't think I got to the end of that.
At the end of the debate, both of them, put many points. But the truth is, even if, you have leaders that are born, but also the society has a greater role in shaping leaders.
Absolutely.
When I say leaders that are born, leaders that naturally they have that leadership instinct, but if the society doesn't shape them, then the leader cannot emerge to be the leader. So it takes both genetics and environment to be able to shape in our leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
environment
every
is so
part of it matters.
Environment
and culture
is so important.
to help shape in our leader.
I know you want to debate. You should have invited Dr. Abati for that debate.
I commented on this at the very beginning of the program to congratulate him.
Yes.
And to say that, look, this is an initiative that should inspire other people.
Absolutely.
Why do I say so? We all have connection with home. If you are from a particular village or from a particular town, what occurs to most people, the kind of pressure you respond to, is to go and build a big house in the village. And I was saying that many of those houses end up as burial spaces.
Yeah. So
your connection with home, you go and build this big house, you don't ever go home. Maybe you go 2 or 3 times in a year, but the thing is, African mentality. They say, you must have a place in your home so that when you die, there will be a place for you to. But what we have seen with this kind of example is that, yes, Rufai Oseni has connected with home, but he's not building a luxury space for himself. Right. He has provided a community center that can be of benefit to younger people. And, once the place takes off on its own, it will be of a benefit, much better than all the big people in Abuja, who may even, in fact, come from that same village, whose mansions are, somewhere in the village, and the only person that enjoys the house is a security man that is looking after the house.
Rufai,
so
well done.
This is really a good
such an inspiring story. And the last thing I wanted to ask, how do teachers sign up for the 1 million platform?
So just go to 1millionteachers.com. That's just it.
1millionteachers.com.
1millionteachers.com and you can sign up for the platform.
Well done, Rufai.
And it's also an idea of giving back.
Yes,
all the millions of money that Rufai Oseni is making from Arise and elsewhere. He's giving back.
We always have to give back. I mean, claim it in Jesus' name. Amen.
And most of them making money.
Well done. And well done to
I'm still
all
a struggling journalist.
Absolutely. Well done to all the students at the debate over the weekend.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's continue on what's trending. As candidates for the November 11th gubernatorial elections in Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo States continue to campaign vigorously, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, who is campaigning for a second term in office, promised to create jobs, provide Medicare, and restore the school system in the state during his campaign rally over the weekend. Well, let's take a look before we come back for a discussion.
We are going to intensify all efforts to bring prosperity to Imo State. I will create jobs. I will bring Medicare. I will restore our school system. I will make the teaching profession more meaningful. I will get teachers to come and choose to teach as a choice, not because of lack of jobs. We will do all this. All you owe me, on the 11th of this month, go in there. Cast your vote, vote for APC.
Dr. Abati, there's something about creating jobs with Governor Hope Uzodinma, but of course he's come under fire on social media because people are saying this is not the rhetoric we need to hear. It's not about creating jobs. It's about what you have done during your tenure and how you can improve on it. If you recall, he also came under fire recently when he talked about creating having 4,000 Imo indigents go abroad for jobs. Dr. Abati, quickly.
Well, it's political season, and I can understand where those who are criticizing him are coming from. Like, okay, if you are campaigning for second term, you should engage at the level of what you've been able to achieve. But the truth of the matter is that, look, a few days to election, what you do as a politician, I've said it on this program, is that constantly, continuously, you must give the people hope. And his own name is Hope. So that's precisely what he's doing there, giving people hope. No like politician will ever stop giving people hope.
Okay.
Whatever he may have done, he will also tell them that he will do more. And we have had some guests on this program who came to speak on his behalf, well, you know, because they were pro-Hope Uzodinma. And they were talking about his rehabilitation of the other palm plantation. They were talking about infrastructure that he has provided. I'm sure that if he's called to task and asked to list what he has done, recovery of markets around the Owerri and all that, he will have something to also say. But it's for the people, when they go to the polls on Saturday, to decide whether he deserves a second term or not. It's not. We will not be the ones to decide in that regard. But certainly, a man whose name is Hope Uzodinma, I don't think we should call him to task for giving the people hope, even if he does it 1,000 times.
Yes, he's provided hope. I like that. Rufai, let me take this story.
Yeah.
We'll take another story, this time in the United Kingdom, where Nigeria's former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Allison-Madueke, is said to have asked for prayers over an alleged multi-million pounds bribery and corruption case instituted against her by the UK National Centre Crime Agency. The former minister appeared before a judge along with two others during the plea and trial preparation hearing last week. According to her lawyer, Diezani is anxious for the case to be heard. She wants the case to be over so that she can move on with her life. Madueke, who is due in court in February next year, is alleged by the NCA to have benefited in cash and kind for the awards of multi-million pounds worth of oil and gas contracts while serving in former President Goodluck Jonathan's administration before 2010 and 2015. Well, Diezani's case is coming as the presidency announced on Friday that France will return $150 million looted by former Nigerian military leader General Sani Abacha. The announcement was made following a visit by the Minister of Europe and Foreign Affairs of France, Catherine Colonna, who said the repatriation followed the completion of legal processes. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has commended France for the decision. I mean, this was trending over the weekend, Rufai. I mean, because they would just say General Sani Abacha is the ancestor that keeps giving $150 million. This is what we need at this point. Let's just keep getting our money back. I mean, Nigeria needs prayers more than anything as well. Go ahead.
I mean, so a couple of things. when I saw the story about somebody needing prayers as regards a corruption case, the truth is, we have built a society where we have a culture of too much religiosity, which is not a bad thing. But the question is, even when we are being tried for things that we could have prevented. So if she's asking for prayers, you will have wondered, why did she pray that God should not make her in such a position where this case will happen in the first place? So why we have a society where you are being, indicted for corruption, where you could have avoided? And this is not the only case. They've had many cases against the Nigerian authorities. So it goes back to the culture we've built. We are very religious, but the question is, do we believe in God? Can we really obey the commandments of God despite the fact that we claim to be religious? Because this is the only country that people claim to be religious, but a lot of atrocities go on. People steal, they take stolen money, they go to church and raise up holy hands in one accord. And we collect that money. And we think we're fooling God. Concerning the Abacha case, and it's good to link it, the question is, why have we built a society where we have a culture of impunity that those that were indicted at some point in the Abacha case many years ago are still looming large today? So we've built a society where it looks as though that you have to be corrupt to make it in Nigeria. There are many people that were mentioned as regards this Abacha loot and theft that are serving in government in many capacities. Somebody once wrote an article on VO News NG, and he asked a very question, Samuel Oluogbemini. He said, so what if Abacha had not died? That means all of this wealth would be in a private hand, and he'll still be able to administer all of these monies. Secondly, he asks, what was very porous about our system that a leader could steal this much at the time that Nigeria was bleeding? Until today, we don't know the amounts. The amount returned thus far is in the range of $3 or $4 billion by one person already.
Insane, Rufai.
So, apart from this, how about the other top military brass guys that stole during his time, but the money is still held privately? And since we return to democracy, how about people that keep stealing in the system, that the money is still being held privately? So, Oji, like I always say, culture will build strategy for breakfast. See, we've built a culture that supports corruption, that supports stealing, and it's as if you're respected based on how much you steal. But the question is, I think it's time for us to really examine the heads of our leaders. If it's not a level of madness, what do you need this amount of humongous wealth for? In Abacha's case, he finally died and left it behind.
Somebody once told me, nobody ever remembers a wealthy person. You only remember those that have created impact.
And that's the thing
Always
about life.
remember that.
So, well, I think it's a clarion call on all of us to get our heads examined. Absolutely. But as we're saying all of these urges, some people are still stealing. That when you hear the revelation of what they've stolen, you'll be shocked.
Well said.
But it's also the system and the country that supports it because of our culture.
Let's take another story. We'll come back to you. Well, following the ministerial retreat, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu threatened to ease out underperforming ministers from his cabinet last week, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, at a one-day stakeholders meeting in Lagos, told CEOs of agencies under his ministry who failed to perform and deliver on their task that he would fire them to save his job. The minister reiterated that he had signed a performance bond during the three-day retreat and wouldn't want to be sacked for underperforming. Keyamo's warning came as a private jet, which departed the Federal Capital Territory on Friday, November 3rd, crash-landed just before the runway at the airport in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. The jet was operated by Flint Aero and reportedly had 10 persons on board, including Nigeria's Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu. No deaths were recorded, but the aircraft was substantially damaged. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau is said to have commenced an investigation into the case of the incident. However, there have been reports indicating that the aircraft had no permission to operate commercial charter flights because it is said to have been registered under the permit for non-commercial flights. Dr. Abati, your chance. I mean, this is the report that has been circulating, and you've seen those documents online saying that, this actual flight did not have the right permit to fly.
Well, this is the kind of culture of impunity that you find in Nigeria, whereby people just do whatever and they get away with it.
Yeah.
This is not the first time that we will have this kind of incident and we'll be told the particular aircraft involved had no license for commercial flights.
Unacceptable.
But we can sit down today and talk. About 10 passengers were in that aircraft, 3 crew members. Now, if it had gone the other way, we would just have lost those lives, just because somebody is not paying enough attention. And it is a good thing that, the people there survived. Not just the minister who was on board, but all the persons, because every life is important. I've been seeing some of the reports making it seem as if it's only the minister that is important. No, every life is important, and this should not happen. Now, when we had Professor Okonkwo of the United Airlines, discussing aviation generally, it's not his company that is involved. He was saying that, look, part of the problem they have at that Ladoke Akintola airport, that, look, when an aircraft wants to land, there are lights on the runway, but many of our airports don't have, those necessary lights for proper landing, and that is why many of the airports, you can't land there in the evening, you can't go there, you can't take off from there early in the morning. So these are things that the Minister of Aviation should pay attention to, and this is one case that has come up.
Yes.
The Safety Investigation Bureau, usually after every accident of this nature, they will say they are investigating. But more often than not, we don't get to hear the outcome, get to know what the outcome is. I think that Festus Keyamo should pay attention to this. And then, he's saying that all the various agencies under the ministry that do not perform, that the heads of those agencies will be asked to leave. However, Professor Okonkwo also made one point, that some of these agencies are governed by ICAO rules, and that the minister, while trying to ensure performance, should not overstep the limit. Now, the other issue about Abacha, when you said the ancestor that keeps giving.
Yeah.
Now, at the initial point, it was estimated that the Abacha loot would be around $5 billion.
Can you imagine that?
One man taking $5 billion out of Nigeria. Do you know what that $5 billion could do? And we've been repatriating, we've been getting back the looted funds since 1998, when Abacha died. There was a $300 million that came from the British dependency of Jersey. There was another $20 billion that came from the UK. There was $321 million that came from Switzerland. There have also been loot that have been repatriated from Germany, from Liechtenstein. There is a place called Liechtenstein. At the time, they sent money back to Nigeria. Now France is repatriating $150 million. Only God knows where this Abacha loot is still operating. Maybe by the time my grandchildren begin to enter primary school, they too will be hearing that Abacha loot is coming. However, one guy went to court in July asking the Tinubu administration to tell us the exact amount in total that Nigeria has collected back from the Abacha loot, so that there is accountability. Otherwise, we'll just keep hearing these figures. We need to know how much was recovered and what has been done with the returned loot.
Right. Rufai, a quick point about the jet that crashed, really quickly.
I mean, it's quite very sad that this has happened again, but it goes back to the cultural problem. The question you should ask is, Oji, how do you have a jet that was not certified for, like, private charter commercial travel, to be used for commercial travel? And there are evidence there. The Guardian took that story today. In fact, they even have the slip there and the certification they made for the jet. So apart from the other problems as regards, landing gear, what's it called? Landing apparatus in the airport and upgrading the airport. And there's a need to upgrade the airport because that airport is long enough. I remember that airport very dear to my heart because I remember when it was about to be built then, my mom, there in her life in the 80s, acquired a property around there because they thought that airport was going to be the big deal around there, Alakia area. So it saddens my heart that that airport has not really lived up to the pride of place.
Unacceptable.
But it goes back to the culture of that aviation sector. And look at what happened also recently as regards water being in a tank and things like that. So there are many problems. We just have to fix our problems. Yeah.
Culture in our aviation sector, but you know, it's not doomsday after all.
No, it's not doomsday.
It's not doomsday for
our airlines, I must have to repeat, pass very good Akara records and very safe.
Absolutely.
But when we have things that we should talk about them too.
Absolutely. Well, you know, finally on the aviation, Africa's largest private airline, Air Peace, made history in Nigeria's aviation industry as it launched its inaugural flight into Jeddah in Saudi Arabia last week. The airline's entry into Jeddah marked the first time an indigenous airline would commence scheduled operations into the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. The flights are scheduled to take off from the Kano International Airport. The Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, during the flight's inaugural ceremony, lauded the airline for always blazing the trail in Nigeria's aviation industry and commended the airline CEO, Alan Onyema, for the impact he is creating in Nigeria through Air Peace. Has been doing so well. Rufai, Dr. Abati, we've seen these, pace setters, be it the Innocent Motors, be it the Nord. We've seen these people do so well for Nigeria, and we need to applaud it.
It's the first
jobs. And creating jobs, which is the most important thing, which is really the most important thing. We'd like to congratulate all the pioneers. Congratulations, Alan Onyema. Well, let's end what's trending today by celebrating Arise News anchor Ndi Amugo, who turned 60 this year. The veteran anchor, at his birthday celebration in Lagos, launched his new book titled The One Step You Have Not Taken, which is an exploration of his personal growth and inspiration. Happy birthday, Ndi Amugo! What can I say?
Congratulations.
That's a great way to end. I mean, everyone pick up Ndi's book. Happy 60th birthday, Ndi. I'd like to thank you both. We miss Ayo today. I'd like to thank you both for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.